Class 12th, Subject Business Studies, Chapter 5th, Organizing, Lecture number 9. Good morning, students. In our last lecture, we have read about informal organization. In this lecture, we shall study about the advantages and limitations of both formal and informal organization. Formal and informal organization. So let's start. First of all, formal organization. It refers to the organizational structure which is deliberately created by management to accomplish a particular task. Beta, formal organization is deliberately created by top management. It is designed by management to accomplish a particular task. Because formal organization means an organization in which the responsibilities, authorities, and mutual relationships among all the employees working in an enterprise are clearly defined. Fine? What are the advantages of formal organization? Number 1, fixation of responsibility. It is easy to fix responsibility as mutual relationships are clearly defined. Where? In formal organization. So, since the authority and responsibility of all the employees have been already fixed, inefficient employees can easily be apprehended, and in this way their accountability can be fixed. Second one is clarity of roles. Each member has to play as duties as specified. This also helps in avoiding duplication of efforts. How? Because under formal organization, everybody's duties and responsibilities are fixed by top management. So everybody has to follow that duties and responsibilities, and they have to work according to that only. That's why fixation of responsibility means responsibilities are fixed, and clarity of roles means roles are clearly defined, duties are clearly specified to the person by the top management. Fine. Third one is unity of command. Unity of command means that an order is to be given by one superior only. To one subordinate, an order is to be given by one superior only. So, unity of command is maintained through an established chain of command. Fine. Next one is stability to the organization. Stability to the organization means it provides. Formal organization provides stability to the organization. This is because the behavior of employees can be fairly predicted since there are specific rules to guide them. Unity of command is there because it is possible to observe the principle of unity of command in view of the presence of scalar chain of authority. Fine. And stability to the organization means all the people, work by observing rules and remain confined within the domain of their authority only. Means they know their authority and responsibility and accountability as well. So this leads to the establishment of good relationship, which leads to stability of the organization. Fine. So in formal organization, it is very easy to fix responsibility, no overlapping of work, unity of command is there, and stability to the organization is also there. Next one is effective accomplishment of goals. Beta, it leads to effective accomplishment of goals by providing a framework for the operations to be performed and ensuring that each employee knows the role he has to play. In formal organization, everybody knows their roles and duties are to be played by them. How? How they get to know about it? They get to know about because their top management assigned that duties and responsibilities to them to be fulfilled over a period of time. Fine. So effective accomplishment of goals is also possible by formal organization by providing the framework for the tasks are to be completed and ensuring that each employee knows the role he has to play. Fine. These were the advantages of formal organization. We can also say that it is easy to get goals in these type of organization because there is optimum use of all the material and human resources. Fine. So if there will be no overlapping of work, employees can easily do their work effectively and efficiently. Isn't it so? So these were the advantages of formal organization. Now limitations of it. Limitations of formal organization. Here first point is procedural delay. What do you mean by procedural delay? The formal communication may lead to procedural delays as the established chain of command has to be followed, which increases the time taken for decision making. Here, delay in work is possible because everybody is bound by rules and regulations that are to be followed by them, which cause unnecessary delay in completion of work. Second one is inadequate recognition of creativity. Poor organization practices may not provide adequate recognition to creative talent. How? Since it does not allow any deviations from rigidly laid down policies. Means the management has already decided policies, it has prepared rules, it has prepared procedures to be followed by the employees. So if any employee is there who wants to take initiative by showing his creativity, he will not be given any chance for that. Fine. So the employees have to do what they are asked to do, and they do not have a chance of some independent thinking. Therefore, it kills initiative. Means there is no recognition of creativity in that concept. Fine. Third one is limited in scope. The relationship of all the people are defined where under formal organization. So this leave no chance for mutual relationship in an enterprise as everyone is bound by the rules. Beta, you know, in formal organization, there is limited in scope in the relationship of people as well, because they are not playing the part of any mutual relationship amongst them. They are doing their, they are coming to office and doing their duties and go back to home. That's why everybody is bound by by the rules. So mutual relationships are not there. So relationship of all the people are defined. That's why it is limited in scope. Fine. So we can say in under formal organization, if it has advantages, it has disadvantages as well. There are so many advantages, though we can say that disadvantages are, means limitations are less than the advantages we are taking from formal organization, but still the limitations are there, like delay in work, initiative is not there, creativity is not there. Fine, there is no scope for mechanism of relationships, that is limited in scope. So all these things are to be kept in mind while somebody is running formal organization. Fine. Now, informal organization, we shall study about advantages and limitations of informal organizations as well. Fine. Informal organization, you know, it refers to the network of personal and social relations within the formal organization, arising as people associate with one another. For example, the managers and subordinates taking part in cricket matches. That is one of the example of informal organization. So, informal organization is that organization which is not established deliberately but comes into existence because of some common interest. We can say interest, we can say taste, fine, we can say communal relations. So, the chief quality of this organization lies in friendly relationship and cooperative nature. In this organization, an individual does not help another individual in his activity simply because he is responsible for it, but because it is his personal liking. For example, in a formal organization, a supervisor in a purchase department consults only the manager of his department regarding his problems. But in an informal organization, any manager of any department or any supervisor can be consulted regarding problem of their departments. Fine. Not only this, a supervisor can talk directly to the general manager as well. Where? Under informal organization. Fine. So advantages of informal organization are: number one, speed. Prescribed lines of communication are not followed here. So the informal organization leads to faster spread of information as well as quick feedback. In the absence of any definite course, it is an effective system of communication because messages can be quickly conveyed from one person or to another with the help of this system, with the help of informal organization. Fine. Next one is fulfillment of social needs. It helps to fulfill the social needs of the members because in informal organization, people having similarity of thoughts and ideas form a group of their own, all the people, because people group form a group of their own, लोग अपना खुद ग्रुप बनाते हैं जो भी उनको पसंद है अपनी लाइकिंग से, फाइन, in their thoughts similarities if it is there, तो वो अपना खुद ग्रुप बनाते हैं, and all the people in that group stand by one another, all the people help each other in the organizational or personal matters, fine. So fulfillment of social needs means in the informal organization people have similarity of thoughts and ideas, जो अपना खुद ग्रुप बनाते हैं, जिन लोगों की सिमिलैरिटी होती है थॉट्स में, आइडियाज में, जिनका थॉट्स मिलती हैं जिन लोगों की, वो लोग अपना खुद ग्रुप बनाते हैं, फाइन, कहाँ पर, इनफॉर्मल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में, और एक दूसरे को हेल्प करते हैं, वेदर इट इज एन ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल मैटर और वेदर इट इज अ पर्सनल मैटर, फाइन. Next one is fills inadequacies of formal structure. You know, it contributes, informal organization contributes towards fulfillment of organizational objectives by compensating for inadequacies in the formal organization. What does it mean? It means that fulfilled objectives are to be fulfilled, fine, but formal structure is not to be followed. For example, employees' reaction towards plans and policies can be tested through informal network. In formal organization, so we cannot easily test reactions, employees' reactions towards some plans which is to be formulated by top management. But under informal organization, definitely it can be tested by the other employees. Fine. Now, limitations of informal organizations. What do you mean by it? First one is destructive force. Destructive force, it means causing great and irreparable damage. Destructive means irreparable damage. Fine, damage होना. Destruction, damage होना. Fine. So when an informal organization spread rumors, it becomes a destructive force and goes against the interest of formal organization. Whenever there are negative feelings, or we can say negative ideas and opinions are spread, or rumors are to be spread, it becomes destructive force. It damages the formal organization's image, and it is very negative for the organization at that time. Fine. So next one is resistance to change. The organization resists changes. How? Because the management may not be successful implementing changes if the informal organization opposes them. Means the management cannot implement changes in formal organization if the organization which is informally created by the people who are opposing them. So it lays stress on adopting the old techniques. Fine. So basically we can say all the persons in an informal organization talk carelessly, and sometimes a wrong thing is conveyed to the other person which may bring horrible results. Resistance to change, we can say this organization resists changes and lays stress on adopting the old techniques. Fine. So if we have advantages of formal and informal organization, we have limitations as well. So everybody is to be careful while forming formal or informal organization, because in the formal or informal organization, it is very necessary for any group action that two blades are essential to make a pair of scissors workable, whether it is formal or informal. We have to be very much careful while preparing, means while maintaining distance or while maintaining relationships with other people. Fine. Its next disadvantage, or we can say limitation, is priority to group interest. Informal organization pressurizes members to conform to group expectation. How? Because this can be harmful to the organization. If the norms are set by the group are against organizational interest. They are saying conform, we can say correspond or compare. Beta, in informal organization, every member of the group is forced to fulfill the expectation of the group. Fine. So they have to move according to the expectation of the group only. So this can be harmful to the organization if the norms set by the group are against organizational interest. Means if a formal organization is there, in that informal organization is created, but in informal organization some people are there who are spreading negative rumors about the organization or about the activity, or we can say rule or regulations prepared by top management. In that case, it will create negative effect on the image of the organization. Fine. So uh, it all the members who are there in the informal organization are pressurized other members to fulfill the group expectation. So if they are spreading negative rumors about the organization, it will create negative impact. Fine. And if it will create negative impact, it will not be in the interest of the organization. So in that case, everybody has to be careful. Fine. So, beta, formal and informal organization both are a part of the organizational structure, but it is depend upon the person who is forming formal or informal organization, that they have to be very much careful about forming groups, whether in formal or informal organization, because it affects a lot when a person says something about the organization's rules and regulations or about the organization. So the person who is in front of that, if it is employee of another organization, it will create an image in his eyes of the organization by the words of the person who is still working in the organization. If he is sending good image by saying good things to others, definitely it's upon his wish. And if he is the part of the group which is who is spreading negative rumors towards it, about it, so it depends upon them. But everybody has to be very much careful while forming formal or informal organization. Fine. Both have pros and cons, negative and positive effect both. So depends upon the person who is doing or who is a part of formal organization or informal organization. As I told you earlier also, that formal organization is helpful in attaining the objective of the organization very easily. But on the other hand, informal organization is not less important, because it is very much necessary for the people to exchange their feelings, opinions, thinking with each other, so that they can get to know about their thinking, fine, and opinions as well. Because without informal organization, employees will feel their work is monotonous under formal organization. Fine. So these were the basic differences between them. Formal and informal organizations, advantages and limitations. In our next lecture, we shall study about differences between formal and informal organization. So your homework is you have to learn this topic and note down in your notebook as well.